Welcome. We're going to read The Dripping Girl of the Delta King. Bit of a story I wrote. The morning sun danced across the Sacramento River, scattering shards of gold upon the rippling water. A thin veil of mist clung stubbornly to the dock, reluctant to lift as little Martha skipped toward the gangway. Her small hand clutched her mother's. Though her eyes were fixed on the majestic Delta King, its white hull gleaming like a promise. Today it would carry them downriver to San Francisco. A grand adventure, her mother said. But as Martha bounded ahead, the mist curled back around her ankles, as if the river itself were reluctant to let her go. Halfway across the gangway, Martha froze. A little girl stood at the top, no older than Martha herself, dressed in a faded white frock, damp as though she had climbed dripping from the river. Her hair hung in dark, heavy strands, her eyes, wide, unblinking, locked on Martha's. "Mama?" But when her mother looked up, the girl was gone. Only the sound of water dripped in the echoes from the deck above. Later, in the dining salon, Martha sat beside her mother, trying to forget. But across the room, between two tables of businessmen, stood the dripping girl, barefoot, her soaked dress leaving no stain. She raised her hand and pointed straight at Martha. Martha cried out, knocking over her glass. Her mother fussed, embarrassed. The other diners smiled politely. None of them saw the child in white. When Martha looked again, the girl was gone. Only the faint smell of river water lingered. Back in their cabin, her mother's anger boiled over, but Martha's tears turned to terror when she heard it. Drip, drip, drip. A dark, wet patch spread across the floorboards. The heavy brass bolt slid shut on its own. Her mother rattled the door, frantic. The air grew icy, their breath misted, and from the shadows came a whisper, low, gurgling, not of this world. "Now you can play with me." The night stretched on like years, footsteps outside the door, sobbing that twisted into laughter, dripping from the ceiling, the walls, even beneath the bed. Martha dared to look once. Wet footprints circled the bed, though no one was there. Her mother clutched her, whispering prayers, but the ghost was patient, waiting. Before dawn, the bolt slid free. Martha's bed was empty. Her mother ran to the deck, and there at the railing stood Martha, barefoot, eyes glassy, water pooling around her feet. When she turned, it wasn't Martha's voice that spoke. "I'm coming to play." Her mother lunged, grabbing her as unseen hands pulled back. Martha's body arched toward the river. For a heartbeat, her mother saw them both reflected in the water. Two little girls, one living, one drowned. "No, you cannot have her!" And then it was over. Martha collapsed into her mother's arms. The deck was dry, the railing empty. But from somewhere deep below, carried on the current, came the faintest echo of a child's laughter. Days later in San Francisco, Martha's mother remembered a photograph she had seen in the ship's lounge. The first captain's family. At the edge of the frame, a little girl in a white dress, wide, unblinking eyes. Now, when Martha stirred in her sleep, whispering words her mother could not understand, that photograph returned to her mind. And sometimes, in the dead of night, she would wake to a sound from the kitchen. Drip, drip, drip.